This is Dabu 7. In terms of North Korea, it seems to be no secret that here on the world stage things are heating up. We hear all the rhetoric. We hear the saber rattling coming from Kim Jong-un and his regime. And we've heard the statements here recently from McMaster, Mattis, Trump. All three making statements that military action is about to be made in terms of North Korea if they don't stand down. Now, at first we had McMaster saying that there's going to be a preemptive strike. Then we had Trump saying that the U.S. military was going to unleash this fire, this fury, and this power that the world has never seen before. Many people thinking that this means we're going to drop nukes on North Korea. And as you can see here, by this cover of the Economist, which always puts out these covers that are very telling and interesting. They put this out just within the week. This is before all this started to really pick up to this level. Before all this talk came out into the public, they put this out. Now check this out. After extinction, a boom in a new species. Interesting article inside the magazine. And you can see here, it is a mushroom cloud with a little bird sitting there with Trump and Kim Jong-un in the image. Now, I, for one, for the longest time, have foreseen something similar like this going down on this peninsula. Big time war, big time weapons being used. And I think just like now, most people out there, when they think of big weapons, they think of big nukes, nuclear mushroom clouds. But I'm not so sure that is going to be the weapon of choice. Now, I want people to think about this for a second, because here recently we have witnessed the U.S. military officially roll out these new laser weapons. And I can't help but think that somewhere along the lines, our U.S. military has this new weapon, this super weapon, so to speak. If the U.S. military was to use something along the lines of a super laser, plasma, something at the speed of light from a satellite, or aircraft very high up in the air, they could eliminate the threat of any blowback of nuclear material. This seemed to be of the greatest concern when China threatened North Korea. Now, when I look back at everything, I see that they told them, if you do anything that causes nuclear material to blow back into China, we're going to target you. This is what China told Kim Jong-un. And it seems to me, it's pretty obvious that this area is very small in North Korea, and that if you use nuclear weapons in this area, you risk the radiation and the material blowing back in the face of all of your troops right there on the same peninsula. That fake border line separating the north from the south isn't going to stop the wind and any other stuff blowing right their way. It's also not going to stop it from blowing into China. Now, if we didn't have so many troops sitting right there on the doorstep, that close on the peninsula, I would say, okay, maybe they would think about an option like that. But to have tens of thousands of your troops sitting there, it makes no sense to be dropping nukes in such a close proximity. So, to me, I'm starting to wonder if this big move that's going to be made, these strikes, are going to be carried out by a new weapon. And if this weapon devastates this place and flattens it, it would expose the weapon and show the whole world the new weapon. And if it was raining down from the skies and they could not stop it, it introduces a whole new era in fighting. the closest step we could take here to literal Star Wars before we get into space fully battling. But launching weapons from high above at speeds they cannot stop, weapons they cannot stop and that they're not prepared for. Intelligently, using a weapon like that with no fallout would be the weapon of choice. You don't put your troops in danger, and you have to think about it. If Kim Jong-un starts dropping or shooting off these mini nukes, they intercept some, say one goes down in the ocean, big tsunami waves, radiation in the ocean, or they hit a target somewhere, they threaten Guam. Why would Kim Jong-un risk nuking the same peninsula when the wind would blow it right back in their face? This is why I question the use of massive nukes in this situation with massive radiation and fallout. And then you have to look at the bigger picture here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look past Kim Jong-un and his regime falling. We look past Kim Jong-un and his regime falling. What we're left with is a flattened North Korea, where U.S. troops and South Korean troops are making their way in. Refugees are flooding the borders. China's prepared for this, but what we set ourselves up for is a face-to-face confrontation with China that I don't think anyone is paying attention to. If Kim Jong-un is removed, the United States then is in a position where, like they always do, are going to go in and try to establish a puppet regime or a regime that works well in their favor. Therefore, they will have access to military troops right up to China's border. That is a huge game changer. Now, do you think China is going to sit there and allow this to happen? Do you think they're going to allow all this to unfold in the U.S. military to just run up in there and they're not going to try to stop it? I don't think so. I think they're going to make moves. I think this is going to turn into a new proxy type of war after the aftermath of it on the borderline areas anyway. And we could see things like China moving its border, trying to claim territory quickly with massive amounts of troops, saying that this is just, it's no longer North Korea. It's fallen. Either we're going to occupy it or no one's going to occupy it. How do you think that is going to hash out? That, to me, is going to be a bigger issue going to war with China than North Korea. And I look at the positioning here of the THAAD and all this. I look at the bigger picture and I see that, yeah, I know why China's been freaking out this whole time over the THAAD. You see, the THAAD is built to only shoot down the short range. If a long range ICBM came in, it cannot stop it. They're not designed to stop them. So then you have to start looking at trajectory, where missiles could be shot from, high arcs coming down at fast speeds that they cannot stop, and other weapons, in my opinion, because it doesn't always come down to nuclear weapons. I believe they're itching to use some brand new, high-tech stuff. Actually, they've been sitting on it for a long while that the world's never seen, and Trump said it. It wasn't the MOB. It's something a whole new level, in my opinion. And it's going to be a game changer once it's rolled out. That doesn't mean you won't see conventional weapons used out here, smaller bombs, things of that nature, but I would expect something new on this front, and the aftermath is something to pay attention to. So could it all happen here? I truly do believe this regime is going down in a matter of time, but it's the aftermath. And also, what happens here in this country, ladies and gentlemen. This is my warning to you. The stage is set for anything to happen here and point the finger at an enemy. It's happened repeatedly throughout history. Do not fall for it again. Do not fall for a staged event. Because certain things can only happen if certain people let it happen. Here with the same hand behind the scene, always pulling the strings. This is what you need to see. But I will leave a link so you guys can check this out if anyone has access to the Economist. I suggest getting there and read some of these articles they have on this, especially the after extinction, and how they ticker taped it right on in there with this cover. And like I said, this was well before the past 3 days where this is all ramped up. They put it out right before all this hit a new level. Yeah, this is the same Economist that put out a magazine cover 1988 with the phoenix rising up from the ashes of a bunch of money burning, and on its chest was a crypto coin. A crypto coin representing a cryptocurrency that they knew about 30 years ago, and they predicted there would be a new world currency in 2018. And here we are, 2017, what's exploding? Cryptocurrency. Right on the money. Seems some of these individuals have meetings in high places. You wonder how the writers of The Simpsons and these Hollywood people have these things ticker taped into movies, hidden and hidden on magazine covers. It's because they are the ones that are in these meetings that know the full script. Look at the Illuminati playing cards. You can't deny it. It was made back in the 90s. Has the tower smoking. Has the Pentagon hit. Has Obama in it. Has Alex Jones and Ron Paul sitting at a table. Al Gore, Bill Clinton. Even has Trump screaming enough is enough. And it's him. Undisputably, undeniably. How did they know all this? It's because they knew the whole game plan all the way out, and this was their way of selectively putting it right in front of your face. Especially with those Illuminati playing cards. Especially with the hints from The Economist that are dropping these things right in front of your face. How do they know? Because they are in the know. They are the ones in the meetings, hanging out, Bohemian Grove style. You see? And the rest of you left in the dark. And that's the truth here on this world stage. Stay tuned for more, and also make sure to subscribe to my other channel, Dabu777. I go live over there often. May go live there tonight. Look to start going live usually Wednesdays and the normal Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And as usual, we look to be discussing all these events, all the updates to the craziness going down, where it's all going, trying to make sense of it all, and getting the truth out there. One thing's undeniable, folks. This isn't going away. This is what they want. They are ramping it up here on this world stage. And you just remember, anything ever happens to this country, anything goes off on the coast and tsunamis come in, power goes out, they point the finger, you better know by now who did it. Just like the towers weren't brought down by a dude in a cave on the other side of the world, you know who did it. And if you don't, you got a lot of homework to do, quick. Hourglass is flipped. Shoutouts to everyone out there that fights the fight. This is why we say Illuminati, to expose this evil, this deception, to stop it, to stop these staged events, these catastrophic things from happening, to go along with their world agenda. Keep fighting the fight. This is Dabu7. And until next time, this is Illuminati. In the name of the Most High Yeshua. Peace.